Welcome back. Well, this morning we're looking to unpack the dynamics surrounding canned lion hunting in South Africa. More than 1,000 lions are killed every year in legal, organized hunts around the country. And according to the campaign against canned hunting, government permits and promotes the industry. For more on the story now, I'm joined by Minister Edna Molewa from the Department of Environmental Affairs. Minister, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
Obviously, an issue like this raises a lot of anger. It has raised a lot of anger over the past few days. Where do we stand on canned lion hunting in the country?
Canned lion hunting is banned in South Africa. Actually, to be precise, we have regulations that are called TOPS, that's Threatened or Protected Species regulations, which have been very much fought against, by the way. It's not an easy thing, this particular issue. Now, what does the top regulation say? It says in regulation number 26 that there shall not be in South Africa any hunting under the following circumstances: under tranquilized situations, in enclosed coverage, hunting using a vehicle, following, in other words. The regulation 26 really talks to issues around that the lion must be free when hunting happens. It even mentions the size of an area where hunting should happen. So that whole package of things actually tells you that we have prohibited canned lion hunting. The issue here, I think, becomes what is canned lion hunting? Yeah. The definition of canned lion hunting. There are those who believe that we hear, but until it's quite fully unpacked, that the issue here is that the breeders who breed in enclosed facilities, because there are those who are breeding. Remember, there are lions in the wild, like in Kruger National Park, those who are breeding within those facilities. Then that kind of breeding, there are those who perceive that as canned lion. But those who are breeding in those small enclosed facilities do have to actually release those lions before they are hunted. And we argued, as the Department of Environmental Affairs, that that kind of a release before hunting must happen. It must be that a lion is released and left in the wild for 24 months. 24 months. The court actually ruled against us. As I say, this is a complex matter. We took this matter and actually put in the regulations this 24 months. Those who are hunting took us to court, especially in the Northwest Province. They won the case on the basis of the following technicality: that you, Department of Environmental Affairs, you have nothing to do with animal welfare. What you are arguing is animal welfare. It's the courts of South Africa that has said to DEA, Department of Environment, don't get into this thing, regulating the 24 months. Let's leave that aside. But is canned lion hunting then happening in South Africa? I have called for information from all the role players. That's now because they have organizations, associations and organizations, because I've never heard of anyone who's doing hunting in these circumstances that I'm talking about. So I've asked them to really talk to this issue, respond to the questions that we have asked. Are you doing canned lion hunting? I've received several responses which are saying no. There are still a few remaining. We'll assess those, we'll meet them. Just in case things are happening at the back, behind our backs, we didn't know, but I doubt if that will be the case.
So just to clarify, we don't allow it.
We don't allow it. It's rules.
But hunting in general
is allowed, which is legalized properly, which is really in terms of a permit system, and that is a lion that's in the wild. Actually, we don't even hunt in any facilities of government. It's the breeders who breed for purpose of then doing this hunting or based also, by the way, on our policy in South Africa that says sustainable utilization of our natural resources. Just like we eat chicken, that's right, but in a legal manner, in a controlled manner. Permits allow 5 in a province per annum. Not more than that.
There will be 5 lions.
5 lions per annum, that's what it allows. And in fact, that it put the whole country together. Those who are breeding would then be using those. I mean, it differs really from animal to animal. They're lions, they are, and so forth.
Minister, just following from that court case, and like you say, they fought you on the 2 years. So obviously the lines are blurry now, and you say you are asking for information to come forward for anybody who knows of anybody who's breeding these lions and then, you know, not setting them out in the time that's been specified. How then do you manage this? What are you doing?
Remember that time has now fallen out, taken out by the court. What we thought was justifiable for a lion to be hunted on over 2 years has now fallen out. They said it's a business of Agriculture Department. We went to Agriculture, and together with Agriculture, we're helping them to set up some regulations. They're almost completing. We are releasing in this week or early next week the TOPS regulations, revised ones that are strengthening further elements, but that are not talking to times. But Department of Agriculture will speak to times about
do you have any
release.
idea what they're considering?
Well,
what time?
It'll probably be the same kind of a issue, because we think that from a scientific point of view, a lion that's under 24, we could strike a balance and reach anything that's probably over a year or something. Right now, there's no standard. Northwest releases them after 30 days. Free State is after
everybody's
30
pretty
days
much
as well.
doing
every
what
day,
they feel
everybody
is right at the moment.
And it's really something that we believe falls within the legislative and the policy perspective, and not something that should have been actually judged in the manner it has been judged, that it is not your fault. I actually don't even know how even this decision expects that DAF is going to get into the game reserves and manage this matter.
Who do you consult with when setting out a time frame like this? I mean, do you deal with sort of veterinarians? Do you deal with the different sort of campaigns that are out there, the different groups that say, you know, it would be fair for a lion or a cub to be this old when you actually set it up?
It's very good, in fact, that, let me say that the associations, hunting associations or wildlife associations are just very good. And they are all there. We consult with them. We consult with the veterinarian associations, but we also consult with those who are in the NGO sector, because we've got to hear both views and really just move on. So we consult everybody who's in that space, but also interested parties who are not operators.
Do we have many breeding facilities in the country?
We do, yes, indeed. But we really also must appreciate those who are breeding in the country. Remember,
breeding for this purpose?
Not necessarily for this purpose, but breeding. Remember, they are not just, if you breed 25 lions per annum, and you are not going to be granted a permit, probably all other facilities may not have a permit to hunt in that particular year amongst the 5 or the 10 that's given. It therefore means that we have extra lions in our country. We're counting over 3,000 in the wild, by the way. Let me put it that way, that in the wild there's no threat of the African lion in particular. So the fight that's been brought mixes the issues. At times people say the African lion is under threat. There's no such a thing. We have done studies of detrimental finding study. They are still in very good condition. What we actually have as a challenge is this managing this particular issue of breeding in enclosed captivities, as well as then leading up to allowing hunting.
What's humane in a way related to these animals?
Let's put it what's possible.
Humane, yeah, what's possible. Minister, when it comes to granting of permits, just in general for hunting in South Africa, where do the proceeds go? Where does that money go? What's it used for?
Well, it also goes to the private facilities. Remember, they are breeders. Remember, they are actually also, spending a lot of money on these breeding facilities of theirs. It goes to them. But there's a suggestion now on the table that says, let's have licenses for, synchronizing and having a national system. And therefore, each and every hunter then pays a system. We're still evaluating that possibility. And the money then proceeds would go into the coffers to expand conservation possibilities and everywhere else where conservation needs money.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we will hopefully get some word from agriculture next week on where we stand.
It's our regulations that we are releasing next week. Theirs, it's not quite next week, but it's very soon.
Okay. Well, we'll get more updates from you. Thank you very much. Environmental Affairs Minister Edna Molewa with us this morning.